Hi everyone. I'm going to point one thing out at the beginning of this. I want you to share, like, subscribe. Please share this video, especially with those friends who are like, Donald Trump is such a monster. We got to deal with the Donald Trump issue. Please do. Because you're not going to... I didn't believe it when I saw it, but then I saw it and I looked at context. I was like, wow, this is even worse than I thought. Now, we often ask ourselves, what would we expect an administration to do, or what would we expect to do if we were alive when the Nazis were killing Jews in concentration camps? The Nazis were forcing Jews to work in concentration camps. The Nazis were sterilizing Jews and disabled people. What would we say about the situation? Well, Joe Biden answered that question, so without ado, I'm Christopher Welch, and this is your First Shot.
You know, Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So the central, to vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China, and Taiwan trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms that each country and their leaders are expected to follow. I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China.
Now, women in China's so-called re-education camps have
And the question is, how are we going to really almost deprogram these people who have signed up for the cult of Trump?
Here's the situation, though. We have, there are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult.
been systematically raped and tortured. That's according to first-hand accounts obtained by the BBC. It's estimated more than 1 million men and women have been detained in the camps in China's northwest Xinjiang region. China claims the camps are re-education centres to de-radicalise Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities. Our correspondent Matthew Hill has spoken to several former detainees and workers, and you may find some of their accounts distressing.
I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing. I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China.
Tarsanai Zaiwudan is reliving a story she can barely bring herself to tell. She was held at one of Xinjiang's so-called re-education camps. These satellite images show the site where Tarsanai says she was held, sharing a cell with 13 other women with a bucket for a toilet. And she's haunted by one image: masked men coming down a camp corridor like this one after midnight.
They were 3 men. Not one, but 3. They did whatever evil their mind could think of. And they didn't spare any part of my body, biting it to the extent that it was disgusting to look at. They didn't just rape, they were barbaric. They had bitten all over my body.
I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing.
They had an electric baton. I didn't know what it was. It was pushed into my private parts and I was tormented with electric shocks.
It's estimated over 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims are held in the camps. These never-before-broadcast pictures were filmed secretly in a camp under construction and published by a magazine on religious liberty. Talk of having to choose between punishment or being complicit in these crimes.
I worked 6 months as a cleaning worker for the women. Han Chinese men would pay money to have their pick of the pretty young inmates.
This was the first time Gulzira has told anyone the full extent of what she says she was forced to do.
My job is to remove their clothes and then handcuff them on their beds so they cannot move.
It is very obvious. Their goal is to destroy everyone. And everyone knows it. These women are done.
Much of the testimony of the women, like Tersanai I've spoken to, is too disturbing to broadcast. But it's important, they say, that the world knows what's happened to them.
So I'm going to teach you guys how to get long lashes. So the first thing you need to do is grab your lash curler, curl your lashes, obviously. Then you're going to put them down and use your phone that you're using right now to search up what's happening in China, how they're getting concentration camps, throwing innocent Muslims in there, separating their families from.
I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China.